الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه الغر الميامين الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum and welcome to Future Stars Live on Hidayat TV. I'm your host Hassan Shah, and today we're going to be talking about a really important topic, is our own willpower. And before I continue, I'd like to introduce our guest.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Misbah.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Mohsin.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Hussain.
And later in the show, Ali Hassan will be joining us as well. So before we continue, why do we think that willpower is an important thing?
It's important because it's so like an ability to control your desires.
Yeah, to control your desires. What could that help you in doing if you have control over these things?
Staying on the right path.
Staying on the right path.
Being a good person.
Being a good person. These things, with when you have this development of your willpower, yeah, and you're keeping this strength in yourself, yeah, I'll be able to keep on the right path, yeah. And going back to Imam Hussain alayhi salam, why do you think him and the people around him, what does this relate to them? Our topic and Imam Hussain and all of his companions. How does willpower correlate with Imam Hussain?
Because what's it called? Imam Hussain, he was always a good person. He never used to curse anybody, or he always was a good person.
Yeah, and also the people around him, yeah, his companions. We can talk about Imam Hussain and his companions having this quality of willpower and this control of ourselves, yeah. Why? Because when they went out with Imam Hussain, they stayed with him wholeheartedly, knowing that they were going to die, but they still stayed on this because they had the willpower to control themselves, yeah. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
And if we learn how to use this willpower and have this willpower of ourselves, control over ourselves, then we'll be able to keep on the right path like the companions of Imam Hussain. Yeah? We'll be able to pray 5 times a day. Yeah? Do every wajibat. Yeah? So before we continue, Misbah, you've got the first thing. So can we start, Misbah? Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajahum.
What is willpower? Put simply into words, it means the ability, power to control your desires, will. Willpower is very important because, as we know, the highest stage of this life is to attain the pleasure of God, to be content, and that cannot be attained except by controlling and developing the will. In the world around us, we are always exposed to dangerous objects such as drugs, alcohol, and pornography. If we were to give in to these temptations, we would ruin our lives. To have willpower means to be able to keep yourself from all these bad habits, from simple points such as sleeping late to behavior that is much worse, such as not offering our prayers on time or even not offering them at all. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. So, thank you, Misbah. So, all this, she actually told us what actually willpower our ultimate aim for us to control ourselves, to have this willpower, is to keep ourselves from the evil. And if we keep ourselves from this, what can we do? Keep on the straight path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be able to follow Him. Because if you look around your day-to-day life, if you look around the world, when you see your friends, people at school, when you see them committing bad things, stealing, talking in a really bad manner, we see these people do it, and it will be hard for them to what?
To control life.
Obviously, it would be really hard to control themselves, and hard for them to actually follow what Allah has told them to follow, isn't it? Yeah. And what did remember? I think it was 2 weeks ago. What did I tell you about? I've mentioned a really important point at the last part of the show. What Imam Hussein said. What was one of the things that he used to go out and tell Yazid army, Mohsin?
It's that what's it called? They wouldn't listen because like in their stomach is haram. Yeah, in their stomach was haram.
So Imam Hussein went out to them and they wouldn't listen to him. And then he told him, whatever I say, it's not you're not gonna listen because in your stomach is haram. So what did it show? If you're doing these sins, it would be even more harder for you to actually do your wajibat and what you have to do as well. So if you got this control power over your sins, then you can do good in this earth. So Misbah, Mohsin, you've got the next thing, so start Mohsin off with the loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
The whole month of Ramadan is an exercise of willpower. Actually, not to eat food is the easiest act of Ramadan. Controlling our appetite for food and water is very easy compared to what else we must accomplish. We must control ourselves from looking and listening to things that are haram. We must control our temper and our language. At the end of the month, we should have conquered that voice inside of us which invites us toward evil. The voice around us, once the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, "Don't you have a voice inside of you, a shaitan, which tells you to do evil?" And he replied, "Yes, I do, but I keep it locked up. It is not with the chains of metal that the nerves were tied up, but the fetters of willpower." This shows that the most important weapon against evil is what Islam teaches us to use and develop, the willpower. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjum. So what was that thing, that narration that Mohsin mentioned? What did he mention? Something about the Prophet?
That the Prophet does have a voice in his head telling him to do evil, but he has that much self-control and willpower that he doesn't listen to it, and it's like locked up.
So someone came up to Holy Prophet. What does the Holy Prophet do? Whenever he speaks, it's Allah who's speaking, isn't it? Because Allah only tells him what he can speak. So whenever he's speaking, it's a way for us to learn to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when this man came up to him and said, "Oh, isn't there a voice inside of you that tells you to do bad things, this and that?" The Prophet said, "Yes, but I keep it locked up." And it's not locked up with what? Metal chains or something like that. What's it locked up with?
It's locked up with the fetters of willpower.
With his own willpower. Would it? it has locked up this voice inside of him to do bad things. This shaitan who is telling us to do these bad things, it was locked up because he has suppressed it with his own willpower. Yeah, willpower can do a lot of really important things to ourselves. Yeah, what can you give us any examples of how willpower can be used?
As in, like in Ramadan, for example, when you're fasting, to control the will, to have the willpower to stop yourself from eating the food.
Yeah, to stop yourself from eating your food in Ramadan.
To what's it called? For example, if somebody is like annoying you, then like you have the willpower to stop.
Yeah, like block them out, ignore them. Yeah, so these are some examples of how if you have this mentality of building yourself up in a way that you can block out all these things that can like tilt you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, we need to all build this up. Yeah, and not even in religious ways. This is really helpful, but even in non-religious ways as well. When you're out in the world, religion is obviously the main thing, and our religion tells us about everything in the world, but things that would be described by everyday people as being as being something that doesn't relate with religion or something like that. Yeah, even willpower comes into this world as well. Yeah, and it's really important that we use it so we're able to control ourselves and make ourselves look presentable. And say for when anyone's trying to hurt you or say stuff to you, what did Mohsin mention about willpower? What can that in that way help you? That you're able to do what, Mohsin?
Right. That you're able to like control yourself.
Control yourself from retaliating back, or you're able to just to block it out. What did you say, Mister?
I was going to say that.
Oh, you're going to say that. So you're able to have this power to block it out. Yeah, so Hussein, you got the next thing, so we can start saying off the loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
When Islam teaches us to offer our prayers on time, it teaches us discipline, which strengthens our willpower, and this constant practice of discipline enables us to control ourselves. The word jihad means to struggle or to strive in the way of Allah. This requires a great deal of willpower. People often make the mistake of translating jihad to meaning only fighting or only war. This could not be further from the truth. If you put your effort into any action that gains Allah's pleasure, then the effort is counted as a struggle in the way of Allah, a jihad. Jihad does also mean holy war, but that is just one of its faces. Jihad in the occupation of Imam Mahdi is regarded only as defensive, which means that if someone attacks you, you can defend yourself with reasonable forces, but this is against an attack and not innocent people. Once the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, after returning to Medina from a battle, told his army that the jihad Istoghfar, the lesser struggle, had been completed, and now Jihadi Akbar, greater struggle, was awaiting them. The people have been tired by the battle, looking around anxiously to find this new and even mightier enemy. But the Prophet, peace be upon him, explained to them, the restraining the soul or self from its appetite is the greatest holy war. This means that controlling the nafs from its desires takes greater effort than any other holy war. It is the greatest jihad, and we know from our Furuddin that jihad is wajib. Every action which we do in a day, avoiding haram food, saying our salah on time, keeping a beard, wearing hijab, when when others around us do not do so, and every action which requires some effort on our part is jihad. Quran explains to us that man was created for a test, and like any test, he must work hard to achieve the results. So what?
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farj. Thank you, Sayyid. So what was Hussein mentioning there? Some key points that he was mentioning.
He was mentioning that jihad is like it's not only to fight in a holy war or just a war. It's to for example, when Imam Mahdi is gonna come, it's like for self-defense and like.
So what Hussein was mentioning there. So I'll clear the point that Mosi was saying there. Well, what are you gonna say just before answer that?
That he said that jihad wasn't it was a struggle in the way of Allah, but not as in war, as in a like in any action that that you do in a struggle of way of Allah is jihad.
Yeah. So if you struggle in the way of Allah is jihad. When the Holy Prophet came back from a battle, yeah, and he said this jihad, what is it called? Jihad, yeah?
Jihad
Saghira. Yeah. What is the meaning of that?
Like the lesser struggle.
The lesser struggle. Yeah. Why is he calling when you go out to fight? You're going out to fight. You're going to put your life in danger. Why is he calling that the lesser jihad? The smaller struggle, Mohsin?
Because anybody could fight, but not like it would take a lot of strength just to control you, to have the willpower to stop doing your normal temptations.
Yeah, that's why. Whenever you feel angry, that's one of the points when it's I believe it's really the hardest to control. But if you have a willpower, then you can obviously control it. If you have the strength of your own willpower, then you can obviously control it. So he calls this jihad the lesser jihad, the smaller jihad, compared to the what was the other jihad?
Jihadi Akbar.
Jihadi Akbar. Yeah? What does Akbar mean?
The great.
The greatest struggle.
Great. So the greater struggle is what? What did the Prophet say was the greater struggle?
To what's it called? Like
Self-control.
Self-control. Yeah.
Self-control. So after the battles that the Prophet has won, yeah, he did. One point I'll mention here is when he won Badr, yeah, and all these other battles leading up to a peace treaty that he made at the end, when he about when he was fighting Makkah, yeah, when the pagans were in Makkah, and he went to fight there. There was actually a peace treaty made. But do any of you know the name of that peace treaty? Because we were H. Any of you know? Hudaybiyah. Yeah, this was a treaty that was made. Yeah, and the Prophet called this, the treaty was the biggest victory, not the battles that they won. It was the treaty that was the biggest victory. So this correlates with what we're doing, to come to a compromise and to have this willpower to whatever persecution they've put on you. What the Arabs, the pagan Arabs did to the Holy Prophet. How much persecution did the Prophet face? A lot, didn't he?
Yeah.
The Muslims, they faced a lot, but he had the willpower to call this the greatest thing, because he made a peace treaty with them. Yeah, that was the greatest victory. Yeah, so to control yourself is way more harder in the long run than going out to fight. That's what the Prophet has said. Yeah? So we need to think about how we can get control of this harder jihad first. Yeah? This jihad that we need to take in ourselves, we need to combat this, don't we? Yeah, and then we'll be able to control ourselves and have this mindset like the companions of Imam Hussein. So we're ready for who? Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. Yeah, and also to as a representative for the people. Yeah. So Misbah, you got the next thing. So can we start, Misbah, with the last salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
Al-Balad, the city, revealed at Mecca, 20 verses. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. I do call to witness this city, and you are freemen of this city, and the mystic ties of parent and child. Verily, we have created man into toil and struggle. Does he think that none has power over him? He may say boastfully, wealth I have squandered in abundance. Does he think that none sees him? We have not made for him a pair of eyes, and a tongue, and a pair of lips, and shown him the two highways. But he has made no haste on the path that is steep. And what will explain to you the path that is steep? It is freeing the bondsman. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Misbah, if you just carry on and finish what the surah was saying.
Or the giving of food in a day of privation, to the orphan with claims of relationship, or to the indigent down in the dust. Then will he be of those who believe and enjoin patience, constancy and self-restraint, and enjoin deeds of kindness and compassion. Such are the companions of the right hand, but those who reject our sins, they are the unhappy companions of the left hand. On them will be the fire vaulted over all round. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. Okay, Mohsin, you've got the next thing, and that explains what Misbah was the verse the surah Misbah was just talking about. So can we start, Mohsin, off with the last salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
By this, Allah explained to us that a person has two choices, whether to live his life the easy way, taking down his hill slope and lose out in the next life, or to take the steep slope in this life and benefit on the Qiyamah. It also shows how to perform jihad, how to climb the steep slope. Go forth, whether unequipped, lightly or heavily, and strive and struggle with your goods and your persons in the cause of God. That is best for you. If you knew that this ayah tells us that whether we are poor or rich, able-bodied or disabled, strong, weak, we should strive towards Allah the best we can to earn His pleasure. It also explains to us that we are making ourselves better people and benefiting ourselves by struggling the way of Allah. To teach a goal is to which God turns him. Strive together as in a race toward all that is good. Wherever you are, God will bring you together. For God hath the power of all things. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. So thank you, Mohsin. So there was a couple of ayahs that Misbah talked about, and then Mohsin mentioned two ayahs that had this talking about having this willpower, yeah, and having this control over ourselves. And Allah is saying, take, and in the explanation that Mohsin gave, he said that Allah is telling us either take the easy way in this life, yeah, not control yourself, leave taking this harder jihad, yeah, leave this path, yeah, you either, and that will be easy for you. It would be easier for us right now in this life. Forget about taking control of ourselves. Don't go doing this jihad in ourselves. Yeah, it will be easier for us not to do that and just carry on with our day-to-day life. Yeah, but what would happen in the end?
We will either go to heaven or hell.
Yeah. And if we take the steeper slope, yeah, which was what? Controlling our willpower, doing this jihad in ourselves, yeah, then we will benefit in the in afterwards, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Misbah, if you go on to the next thing, so can we start Misbah off with the loud salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
Does this mean that we should pray and read the Quran non-stop? Not at all. We should of course pray and recite Quran, but we should help those in need. We should fight for the rights of others and for ourselves. What about those who believe but do not struggle? Not equal are those believers who sit at home and receive no hurt, and those who strive and fight in the cause of God with their gods and their persons. God has granted a grade higher to those who strive and fight with their goods and persons than to those who sit at home. Unto all in faith has God promised good, but those who strive and fight has He distinguished above those who sit at home by a special reward. This shows that for a person who struggles in the way of Allah, there is a reward waiting which is greater than for ordinary people. A person who dies in the state of jihad struggle is a martyr, and the status of a martyr is distinguished. Over every act of virtue there is another one, till a man is martyred in the way of Allah, then there is no virtue over it. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. And you're saying you've got the last bit, so I can start saying off the loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad
wa ajil farjahum. A woman is given one of the biggest challenges in Islam to perform jihad of the nafs. Jihad is one of the ways in which a woman or young baligh girl can practice in jihad. When a woman struggles to maintain a marriage and bear the wishes of the husband, she is doing jihad in itself. Every moment of a woman's effort to preserve her marriage and make it blossom is jihad. Bringing up children and teaching them is jihad. To maintain hijab so that the children will learn modesty is jihad, and Allah rewards her accordingly. It is not easy to keep hijab. Allah holds every woman who does hijab in high esteem. The first person to ever enter paradise is a martyr. Islam recognizes the difficulty and hardship that a mother takes in bringing up her children. Since these actions are all a struggle to make the child into a good Muslim, someone who will guide and help others, then that struggle is one towards Allah. Which is why there is a hadith that explains heaven is under the mother's feet. In the upcoming chapter, you will learn of specific examples of willpower and jihad and how you can practice both.
Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. So, upcoming, we're going to talk about how we can actually do what? What did Hussein say?
Practice jihad.
Practice is jihad, and over a couple of episodes. So, what month is it now?
It's Muharram.
Is it Muharram?
No, the past, yeah.
What month? What comes after Muharram?
Safar.
Safar. Yeah. Yesterday was no, actually today I think is the first of Safar. Yeah. And we can in this month there's the Waladat, I think next week or in 2 weeks of Imam Musa Qasim. Yeah, but there's also other things that we need to talk about going through this month as well. Yeah, the things that happened to the Imam Hussein's family as well that we need to talk about. Yeah, and what is coming up as well? You probably maybe seen posters of it in mosque or something. Begins with A. 40 days means 40 days. Arba'in as well. Yeah, which we're gonna talk about as well in the upcoming. While we're getting closer to Arba'in, we're gonna talk a little bit about it, and then we're gonna hopefully make a one program on it as well. Yeah. So talking about willpower. So we've gone through the whole show talking about willpower, and ultimately, what is this willpower used for?
Self-control.
Self-control. Ultimately, what though?
Desires. To control desires.
Yes, and what does that do? Help you do what?
Stay on the right path.
Help you?
Follow Allah.
Help you what?
Pray.
Yes, help you pray. Yeah, and Misbah has got a book teaching us how to pray. Yeah, so can we start Misbah off with a loud salawat? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum.
Daddy, I made wudu, then I listened to the adhan, now I'm ready to pray. That's great, son. Daddy, look, Salim is praying too. No, my son, Salim is just playing. Salim doesn't know what salat really means, but you do. You know that you pray to Allah and that you know which salat you want to make. This is called niyat.
Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajil farjahum. So Misbah, what was that section about?
Niyat.
Niyat. And what is the niyat? What is it? Niyat.
It's like when it's how you begin when you pray. So you're saying whatever like prayer is. For example, Fajr, you'll be like, I offer Fajr prayers to Rakat Wajib Qurbatan Ilallah.
Why do you need to say that?
Because it's to tell Allah that you're praying this namaz, or you're reading Quran, or if you just if you want to save time, then you could say I'm doing wudu wajib qurbatan ilallah.
It shows your intention.
Yeah, intention is the word that I was looking for. Yeah. So the niyyah is what your intention that you have to do something, and really, it's really important what intention you have. For many things, it's really important what intention you have, and you gotta really. This is going off the topic of salah, but really with your intention of things, you gotta think about a lot in life. Your intention of something, for you to do something, for you to go out and work, for this and that, yeah, is really these things that an intention is. But intention in salah is what? Is what intention in salah?
Yeah.
Your niyyah, yeah, and it's what you start off your salah with. And Misbah gave an example. What do you say, Misbah?
For example, if you're doing the Fajr namaz, you say, I'm offering Fajr prayers to Rakat Wajib Qurbatan Ilallah.
What does Wajib Qurbatan Ilallah mean?
I have to do it.
Doesn't mean I have to do it.
Wajib is I have to do it.
Yeah.
To get closer to Allah.
Qurbatan Ilallah, to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, that's what I mean. And Qurbatan Ilallah is the main thing. Where, in any niyyah you're making, you're doing wuzu. yeah, and when you're doing salah, this is what you say, qurbitan illallah. So whenever you're making a niyyah in Islam, the thing that you're actually saying that is repeated all the time is what? Qurbitan illallah. Yeah. So this word that people just say randomly, yeah, we need to know the meaning of, yeah. So now you know the meaning of it, yeah, and I hope people as well know the meaning of it as well. So it's coming in to the end of the show, and before that, I'm just going to talk a little bit about summarizing the whole topic, yeah. And I said at the start, did you recognize what I said at the start before we started the show?
You said Surah Asr.
Surah Asr. Yeah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Yeah. This, I think, well, I picked it out myself to show this willpower and what we actually need for willpower. Yeah. So Allah says wal asr. So Allah is saying by time. Yeah. Indeed, mankind is in loss, except for those who have believed and done righteous deeds, and advise each other to truth and advise each other to patience. Yeah. So Allah has mentioned 4 things. Yeah, 4 things here. And what has He mentioned? He's mentioned belief, righteous deeds, you're doing good things, yeah, and you advise other people to truth and advise other people to patience as well. Yeah, you need you need yourself this patience, and be able, if you're advising other people to do good as well, but to be able to advise yourself as well and know yourself. And if you are advising other people, that's a good indication that you know yourself what is good and what is wrong. Yeah, when you're small. Yeah, when you're in the classroom and you see someone doing a bad thing, or even if you see one of your Muslim friends, yeah, at school and they're eating haram stuff, yeah, and you tell them, yeah, oh, you're that you're not supposed to be eating that, yeah, all these things help you build up your control power. Yeah. So what we find is in that we need this willpower. Look, Allah mentions it in the Quran as well. Yeah, from the passages that you talked about today, and from this surah as well. Yeah. So it's really an important thing, this willpower that we have talked about today. And I hope you have now gained this knowledge for what? To have this willpower, and inshallah people at home as well have got this willpower for yourself and for you to advise everyone else as well to have this willpower as well. This willpower is really important to get ready for our Imam alayhi salam. Yeah. So I'll see you next week, same time, same place on Hidayat TV. But until then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.